world in which every day brings new and exciting discoveries. But nothing in the world is entirely safe, and to a curious, enthusiastic child, danger can lurk in the most seemingly innocent of places.
My daughter Shannon was 3 years old when her stepfather and I married. We moved into a small 2-bedroom house in Angleton and became a very close family in a very short time.
Shannon was, in fact, a big part of the reason Janet and Ralph had gotten married. Shannon had badly wanted a father, and her fondness for Ralph quickly led to a strong three-way relationship.
Let's go. Give Dad a hug and a kiss.
Ralph had commented many times on how lucky he was to have two such fine young ladies to love. But something was going to happen on this particular night. Something that none of them would ever be able to fully explain.
One evening, I put Shannon to bed at her usual time, and shortly thereafter, David and I went to bed. I checked on her before we went to bed, and everything seemed fine. I hadn't been asleep very long when I felt a gentle tugging at my nightshirt. I turned over to see that David was sound asleep. The tugging became more intense, and all of a sudden I was out of the bed and I was being physically pushed from behind.
Whatever it was that kept her going knew exactly where she was supposed to go. In just a moment, Janet found herself entering the door to Shannon's room. Nothing appeared to be amiss. Shannon seemed to be sleeping comfortably, but another firm push caused Janet to take a second look. It took Janet only a moment to realize that the mini blind was now open. The cord had been an entertaining plaything for little Shannon, but it had become a potentially deadly noose.
I discovered that she had the mini blind cord wrapped several times around her neck, and her breathing was impaired. I immediately unwrapped the cord from her neck, and she began to cry and breathe normally, so I knew that she was okay.
Shannon quickly recovered. Janet had arrived just in time. Another few seconds, and the little girl would have strangled in her sleep.
She was crying, of course, obviously upset. I sat at the edge of the bed and held her and comforted her until she stopped crying and could go back to sleep. I, at that point, of course, went and got a pair of scissors, cut the mini blind cord where she couldn't play with it again during the night. When I knew she was okay, I sat at the edge of the bed, wondering what compelled me to be there and how I had gotten to her bedside.
Janet decided not to mention the incident to anyone, since she could not explain it herself. But the mystery was about to grow yet deeper.
So, who was that lady in the room last night?
The next morning, she started asking me questions about the events of the night before. One of her questions was, who was that lady in the room with you last night? I was startled for a moment, and I asked her, what do you mean, what lady? And she said, the lady standing behind you. At that moment, I questioned her, who was the lady, or what did the lady look like? Did she look like your grandma's? Did she look like anyone you knew? And she said no, that she just knew that the lady was there to help us.
Janet was never able to give Shannon an answer. She had not seen anyone else anywhere in the house, but she had certainly felt a presence, the powerful, life-saving presence of a miracle.
Half the miracle is accepting what's happened to you into your life and accepting it as a miracle. I know that since this occurrence, there's been a peace and a tranquility and a renewed faith in the good of the universe.